What are we on? Oh, episode 14. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode of Webcomics Hubcast. My name is Nen, and today on episode 14 of season 2 of the greatest podcast in webcomics history, we we are going to be talking about some interesting news. Interesting news indeed. Behind me is Hotep Saka, because today I'm about to lay on you guys some knowledge, brother. This is like the one time I think I've made a reference to anything like this. For reference, I am not a Hotep. Let's just deal with that now. I'm not a weird fucking nationalist. Also to everyone, every new person who's here today, hi and welcome. Hey Demi Dot, first time chat from you. Nice to see it. I'm literally waving. You can't see me. Today's topics are very easy because usually I cut the video just before this. Okay, that explains that. Today's topics are really simple. We're going to talk about Webtoon and the drama. I'm going to try and catch myself up on the drama because I've been busy. We're going to talk about a little bit about some convention drama. Not very long, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk a little bit about some mild things that I think we should all know about copyright. And finally, we're going to talk about the state of our industry as I see it and where I think we're headed. Reminder that next week is the 3,000. Jesus Christ, I can't fucking believe I'm saying it. Reminder that next week is the 3,000 webcomic stream where I rate my top like 10, 20 out of the entirety of the entries for the contest. I managed to read quite a lot, and thanks to some friends, I managed to get a lot of things covered. I'm going to explain my rubrics next week, but let's just say like I almost died. Let's say that. Anyway, hello gozaimasu, my friends. From what I understand, there's been some drama. In the 3 weeks I decided to move. You know, I got a new job. I'm trying to do better by myself. I move cities. You know, I even get a new patron. And on patreon.com/webcomics hub, I move and I'm here in London. And I was like, let me move in. And I couldn't move in because of bullshit things with the housing market, because the housing market is a lie. And while dealing with all of that, I've already read all of them, Zenny. And while dealing with all of that, you guys, yes, you people, you webcomic creators, you fucking weirdos, you couldn't chill for like a minute. You couldn't this is like, you guys could just be fucking chill right now. You know, wait until I'm back so that I'm ready for your bullshit. But nah, all of you decided that you needed to have some drama. So we're having some drama. And I say drama, it's not really drama. It's just more of the same for me. A lot of this information I already knew, luckily, in terms of like the environment and stuff. Some of this I have to, because I want to talk about this, I'm going to have to reveal some of the information around a story I've been working on since January. And I don't want to do that because I don't want anyone to know that I've been following it, but it is necessary now just so we can talk about something more relevant. Let's just say there's a lot. Okay. Starting off with the Webtoon drama, from what I understand, it went like this: the creator of Lovebot, whose name I think it's Chase, the creators of Lovebot, Chase and Miranda. Yeah, because it's Miranda Munt, isn't it? The creators of Lovebot, Chase and Miranda, posted a tweet. They roasted a tweet that basically went something like this. I'm even going to get up on the screen right now just so we can all live in it together as one. There it is. Oh, the transition is going to be buggy. As someone who worked for a small company like Webtoon in the past, I've noticed some similar trends that resulted in my former company's downfall. By writing this letter, I deeply hope to start a conversation and improve the relationship between creators and Webtoon. I don't expect a reply, though I will be emailing it to the creator care team and head of content. In my heart, I hope we can work together to better the platform for everyone involved. And by making this public, I am holding both Webtoon and myself accountable. One thing for clarity, Webtoon is not a small company by any means. I am saying that they act the way a company that we used to work for does, even though they have far more resources and the means to do so. They act like they are smaller or newer than they are. And there's some update stuff we'll get to, but for now, that's where we'll stop with the tweet. So I've read the open letter mostly. I've read the open letter, and some things about it for me are a little bit alarming. Like, actually, no, before I get into all this shit, I don't want to criticize. I really don't want to criticize Miranda. I don't want to criticize Chase. I think Miranda really was the driving force behind this, because she, and I believe her pronouns are still she, her. She has a lot of experience working with them. But I want to open this by saying, really good fucking job, Miranda, posting this letter. For as much, whatever it means, if my words have any meaning to you, if you ever hear this, which you probably never will, good job for being brave. Like, it's not a big move, to be honest, but it takes a lot to act in a way that is different to what everyone else normally does, to act in a way that is antithetical to the typical ethos of the webcomic community, which is live in ignorance and die in fear. Like, I genuinely appreciate that you're not one of those people. It's actually really big. And you know, you'll see why I'm saying that in a second. First things first, I've read the letter. Miranda talks a lot about trying to achieve a level of transparency, asking questions from Webtoon, and basically telling Webtoon, hey, look, I need to know how my comic is being scored. Like, what are the metrics you're using to tell me how much you're paying me? Because you just pay me a contract, and then your entire metric system is a black box, and I have no fucking idea what's going on in there, right? That's what she says. That's what they say. Sorry, that's what they both say. And Webtoon basically doesn't get back to them for 2-3 weeks. Gets back to them finally after a second email saying that it was sent to the wrong place, and they're currently in the final stages, quote unquote, of implementing a report program that would give creators access to their data and information. That is the dumbest fucking thing in the world. Like, okay, real quick. If anybody ever tells you that, like, the core thing that they use to mark you, like the core thing they use to pay you, right? To pay you, does not have a method through which you can see into the box, that person's trying to scam you. Like, in my company, I work for a school. If you don't know this, I work for a school. And at the school I work for, I get paid flat. I get paid a rate based on a whole bunch of factors. But essentially, I can go in and like go to finance and just be like, hey, look, I need to understand through what metrics you're using to guarantee my pay. And I'm not even paid based on numbers. Like, I can ask them that information, and I will get information in like a week. There's a whole bunch of stuff that they collect, the performance reports and stuff. I'll get that. I'll get other people's comments. I can request that information. It'll be given to me. It might be anonymized, but it'll be given to me, right? And I don't even get paid based on the numbers. So in a situation where you are paid based on the numbers and you can't see the numbers, that is a fucking scam. Holy shit. And I think the thing that gets me about this is, I read this and I went, has nobody ever asked in the originals team? And I realized, not only have they probably never asked, even if they did ask, they got told no, and they just never pursued it further. Like, guys, you can't be this fucking spineless. Like, like, when you ask a question, expect a response. Getting told like, no, we can't give you that information is not acceptable. It is actually illegal for them to not inform you through what metrics they're paying you. Like, it should be. I'm pretty sure it's illegal in the UK. I don't know if it's illegal in America, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal in the UK for a company to say they're paying you for something like readership numbers or like sales of chapters, and then they don't give you a concrete document outlining every single sale. Like, holy shit. Like, that's actually incredibly sketch. Like, and I'm glad that in this they talk about how they're They were thinking about seeking legal advice, because good fucking job not being spineless. I say it and it sounds like such a vapid praise, but like, as somebody who's been with creators long enough, y'all are spineless as fuck. Like the Webtoon creator community is zero spine, zero backbone, no concept of carrying shit on the back. Like, holy God. I've seen Webtoon creators get paid ridiculously low rates and just go, okay, bro, that's what it is. Never at any point discussing things. And like, the thing I thought about, so I went on further. I was like, okay, this happens, but then it can't be worse than this, right? In terms of what's happening. Because like, I know some of these things, but it's one thing when you know some things, and it's another thing when someone cross confirms your thoughts. Another one that Miranda brought up, Miranda, like the team brought, I'm gonna stop saying Miranda because Chase is involved too. Another one that they brought up was that past year they've been getting a lot of emails with intentions about what Webtoon was going to do, plans and developments. While they're sparse, the emails are coming in, but some people aren't getting the emails. Now, as a Webtoon influencer, I'm gonna say this. This happens to us too. I say Webtoon influencer like it means anything. Y'all know I don't give a shit. But as a Webtoon influencer, this happens to us too. We sporadically get emails. Like, I get most of the emails in the group. Like, me and a bunch of influencers have our own private Discord where we just talk about the things in the emails, because we know that sometimes we don't all get the same email. Like, a few months ago, it went out that there was a sponsored deal. There was a sponsored deal for boyfriends. One, I would have never taken it. But more importantly, I never got the email. Ever. It went to literally everyone else but me. Which might be targeted, but like, I didn't even get like an update on it. In fact, I had to email about it, and I was told that I could take it if I wanted to. Although I emailed it slightly too late, so they said I could take it and do the sponsorship for no money if I wanted to, which is, cringe. But that was a thing, and it happens. It happens to us with like random information. Like, I get press releases on a weekly basis. None of my friends do, even though they all have their emails on record in the same stupid fucking Airtable, like, what'd you call it? Excel page that they make us all put our information in. So that's like not unusual. But then I realized something when they were saying this in the open letter. Like, the fact that so many creators don't know things about what's going on means that a substantial number of creators don't talk to each other, which is point number 2. Guys, you need to talk to each other. Like, I know this is fucking obvious, but you need to talk to each other. The number one complaint I've heard about talking to each other about like pay and stuff like that is like people telling me things like, but what about my NDA? Guys, look, I'm not a fucking lawyer, but I'm going to let you know this as someone who is currently under an NDA right now at this very second. The only thing that can affect you about your NDA is if you breach your NDA in a way that affects the business objectives. And so just talk to your friends about it. Breach your fucking NDAs with your friends. You need to. Like, holy shit. Especially when it's pay. If it's about pay, breach it. And if it makes the other person jealous, fuck them. Like, don't have sex with them. But like, they can go screw themselves for being jealous. They need to know this information so they can understand what they deserve to be paid. You need to know this information so you know you're being paid appropriately. Like, what the fuck? Every single day I talk to everyone in my work about pay. Literally, we've been working there for 3-4 weeks. I've had at least 25 different conversations about pay with 25 different people. And I don't initiate any of them. It's little things like, oh, what are they paying you? How because that's in education, we talk about our pay very openly. Because it's like, when you have a union, you do it because you need to stay safe. Like, it's important. Just like, I don't understand why it feels, man, telling fuck off, Luxifer. It just feels really weird to me that like creators don't talk about these things. Maybe they do in such limited circles where it doesn't have an effect, but the conversations need to be wider. Like, the only reason we ever learned about the 2K minimum, which used to be a thing, it's not a thing anymore, But there was this they back in the day, there was this idea of the 2K minimum. Because back in the day, Webtoon used to pay 1K to the highest earning canvas creators, highest earning discover creators. I'm not using this canvas bullshit. Highest earning discover creators. And then the idea was that when you became featured, you got paid 2K a month on average for similar output. Like that was the idea back in the day. That was what everyone believed. It was based on a leak that I don't even think is true anymore. But like, that information was really useful for us when we went back when I cared about Discover a lot. And like, it just feels weird that there's no more of those because people don't want to talk because they don't want to get outed. And I'm like, get outed. This company is not worth your shit. Get outed and figure out if you're being underpaid. Like, holy shit. Like, I'm reading it and I'm reading, like, I was reading like the open letter. And then like someone sent me, one of my friends who helped me research a lot of this, Jenny Toons, sent me one of the tweets from that deleted Webtoon exposed Twitter account that's talking about pay scales. Remember every month, basically I was telling you guys, creators get paid as low as $1,200 a month. And then like people were arguing with me. I feel so vindicated. Because I know this. I know creators get paid as low as that. I know that Uru-chan gets paid $500 a month as her base pay. Her base pay is $500. Like, what the fuck? Her base pay is $500 a month. She gets most of her money is based on viewership numbers. And if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that I have this information, like I just have shit like this lying around, give me a second. Where's the email? There it is. Like if you doubt me, if you think that I just have stuff like this, that I'm just saying things like this to fuck with you, I'm gonna show you this right now. I'm gonna show you. I need to like zoom in because this is part of a story I'm working on, and I don't want to like expose my entire story. My entire story's ass. But okay. I really need to be careful with this. Yeah, cool. But like, here's an example of how low they pay, even other people like that. Over here, creators shall receive a fee equal to $500 per chapter. That's what they call the initial exhibition fee. She's getting paid that plus what's called earned revenue or additional revenue. Which, if you want to see the chart for that, I need to like make sure I don't expose any personal information. I already did. If you want to see a chart for that, it's here. This is one of them. There's two based on different pay things, but there's two of them. Okay. I've been on like the earned revenue for a lot of people, the initial exhibition fee for a lot of people is really, really, really fucking low. Like for quite a lot of people, it's so low as to be comical. Like I cannot express this enough. And it's just because Webtoon, for an ordinary, you could make the argument case of the viewership numbers she gets are so high that making the base pay low is just because they want to continue to incentivize her to produce, like incentivize her based on viewership numbers and unique browser visits, right? If that's what you want to believe, sure, I don't really have time to fucking argue it. But like just to contextually understand that like low base pays are a normal thing in Webtoon. It's been a thing for a while. And then anyway, back to the open letter to Webtoon. Back in the open letter to Webtoon, I'm just proceeding through it. The team of Chase and Miranda proceed to talk about the next thing on their docket, which is the minimum revenue threshold. They talk about how they feel taken advantage of. And if you don't know what MRT is essentially the idea from Webtoon that like before your comic can generate revenue, you need to make back the cost of hosting your comic, essentially. The cost of like your comic, like the amount they paid you beforehand and a whole bunch of other stuff that before the season starts. And like the amount goes up and up and up, and you need to pay basically all of that back before you can make any money off of FastPass. And as Miranda points out, it's getting a lot harder to pay that back because one, Webtoon does not promote comics as much as they used to. Two, their discovery, she doesn't say this, but this is me, the discovery system is shit. Three, and more importantly, the amount of money to pay back is higher and higher. And four, it resets every season. Every season, the minimum revenue threshold resets. So every season, you have to fight back to make back to start getting paid your fast pass. Oh, and also, if you don't know this, free coins don't pay creators shit. Free coins aren't money. Like Webtoon isn't doing a Twitch Prime where you give people free Prime that pays the creator. Free coins don't pay people shit. As a Webtoon influencer, I can request coins at any time I want, and they'll give me like hundreds and hundreds of coins. They can give me like 1,000 coins in a month. I think they give us 100 coins a month, but I can have them. And that 100 coins a month, isn't real money. If you're asking from Misty Nix in chat, is this why some series seasons are insanely long? Yes, probably. Not only the fact that the creator has things they want to complete, but they're probably also insanely long because don't have to reset that minimum revenue threshold. It wouldn't be a strange thing. Free coins should come out of Webtoon's promotion budget? Yeah, you're right, but they don't. Like, this isn't a Twitch Prime. Amazon does the Twitch Prime thing and pays their own money, but like everyone else, Webtoon especially, does not do that shit. Nay, I tell you. Anyway, moving forward. So, Moran Chase then proceeds to bring up the question of the two answers that they've come to based on the situations with Webtoon. Either Webtoon legitimately remains ignorant of the huge impact that their behavior has on creators' ability to support themselves, or they're deliberately employing predatory practices. And it is both. It is both. From everyone I've spoken to at Webtoon that works with Webtoon, that's involved with Webtoon, it is both. It's both. They're purposefully predatory because they know that the industry needs them. Because this is the saddest part of this entire fucking thing, right? I'm about to hit you with the saddest statement I've ever said in my life. Despite all of this bullshit, this is the best company to work for. This is still the best company to work for in the space. Short of going solo or going Hiveworks. This is the best company to work in the space. Like, pain. Fuck me. Because they have the most money, they have the most viewership, they have the most transference. While you get paid like shit, you get paid like shit everywhere. The only difference is, does anybody even read your stuff despite being paid like shit? Do I believe Webtoon can improve? No. But like, I'm cynical. I don't believe in any multinational companies. Look, I'll tell you the same thing I said to somebody today when they were talking to me about Webtoon and copyright. The number one mistake you will ever make in your life, ever in your life, in your entire goddamn life, this is the dumbest mistake you'll ever make, is trusting any company ever. Ever. If Webcomics Hub becomes a company, which it's on track to, don't trust me without significant evidence of my track record and like cross-referencing all of my shit. Because fundamentally, that company's motives does not align with you. Like, there's this idea from Dan Olson. This really cool idea from Dan Olson. I say idea. It's a thing that everyone's known. But like back in the day when YouTube had more competitors, these competitors used to reach out to creators and be like, "Hey, look, let's help us build together. Let's work together. Let's take ourselves and let's make this platform great and better than YouTube and get all the things that you need that YouTube doesn't have." And like, they used to say that a lot, right? And the reason they used to say that a lot was because what they were doing, they were basically convincing you to get into this familial relationship with them. Because for that moment, your goals aligned. The moment your goals no longer aligned, as Dan points out, and as was shown by websites like VidMe and Maven Video, the moment your goals don't align, they'll shoot you in the back. They will let the platform become a cesspool. They will do anything they need to do to make money. And I have read multiple Webtoon contracts as of right now. Like, this is not even my first Webtoon contract this month. This is not my first Webtoon contract to read this month, but I've read many Webtoon contracts, right? I've read a few based on like from subpoenas. So I've read a few because people give them to me. I've read a few for lots of reasons, and like, like, yeah, they're predatory. Like to the point where like as Moran Chase points out in the chat, some creators are making less than $300 every 40 every 40 panel episode because they still need to pay for assistants and stuff. I want to remind you that when Webtoon's working with DC, they're very happy to pay the fucking artists $4,000 a month to make 5 chapters a month. But when it comes to their own people, they're not even willing to pay them $1,200 for 12 chapters. They're very happy to bankroll every assistant and everything for all those other companies. But when it comes to their own people, their own base, they don't. Like it's one thing if you pay them fine, but you don't really help them out and they make enough money. It's another thing when you essentially abandon them and like watch them sink. I don't understand it. Anyway, if you can go through the entirety of this open letter, and a lot of it is Moran Chase talking about their emotions about the situation, talking about other situations they've watched of mishandling of creators, talking about all those things. And I genuinely respect it. I think it's a really good and very powerful thing to read. After reading it, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little bit sad. A lot more sad. Like I'm sad all the time when I do this show now, but I was a lot sadder than I usually am. Because at the end of the day, I want creators to make money. I want Webtoon to make money, frankly, because as I said, they're the best company this industry has. They are the only thing propping us up as an industry right now. Who the fuck else is propping us up as an industry? Who? Tapas? What? Fucking what? Tappy Tunes? Like, who the fuck else is propping up this industry in terms of giving it the financial and the economic legitimacy that it needs? Who? Fucking DC? They don't give a shit. We're a quick buck. Like, the only thing propping up our entire industry is, sadly, Webtoon. And that's it right now. It is comical that that's what we've got. It's me. Someone said it's you, Nan. What the fuck? I'm not propping up this industry. If I was, I'd finally be happy. But no, like no one is propping up our industry. Like it's so weird. And yeah, Webtoon shrugged off the initial letter. Actually, no. Before I go on to this, before I go into Webtoon shrugging off the letter, I want to just say something really quickly. In the open letter, which I said is very powerful and very meaningful, there's the bit about minimum revenue threshold. Moran Chase talks about it like it's new. Like they talk about it like it's new. And I'm just gonna show you a document right now. This is a document I'm gonna show you. This is one of Webtoon's creator care summit PowerPoints. They make summit. Webtoon makes PowerPoints for fucking everything, man. It's so cringe. Anyway, so this is their changes for MCA2. That's just the payment system. And on it, if you look at the change for MCA2, and I just scroll to the right, you will see, I think it's on this page. Yeah, there it is. You will see minimum revenue threshold down here. The local FastPass revenue share, the minimum revenue share. They talk about how it's all getting implemented. There's talk about the payment system and how MCA2 will affect. All this stuff is here. This was put out March 2021. Yeah, this was put out March 2021. So like, did Moran Chase not get this email? Genuinely, this is not me trying to like be a dick. Did they not get this email? Did they not have this creator care summit? We've known about this for a year. Why are we talking about it when it's implemented? I feel like we should have been talking about this earlier. And I mentioned this earlier. I mentioned this to you guys earlier, a year ago in the podcast that wasn't season 2 based, but I mentioned this a year ago about how MCA2 is changing and it's very worrying, but it doesn't look like it's going to be terrible. I said that a year ago because I was a fucking idiot. Okay? I said something like that a year ago because I was a moron. I was wrong. I was painfully wrong. And I'm very willing to admit that. It's a fucking bad decision. I didn't read this document properly when it first happened. Anyway, MCA V2 changes came in 2022 of this year. Sorry, in March of this year. So like, we've known about it for over a year before it even came out. So I'm just a little bit surprised that like, now we're talking about it, but I have no issue with that. Good, we're talking about it. As for when this open letter came out, yes, I just hit the mic. I'm sorry. Webtoon did shrug it off, as far as I've been told, but I didn't experience that. I basically got to experience Webtoon responding, and I read their response, increasing transparency and improving process 5 days ago that they posted. No, they didn't add explosion sounds to each slide. That's what one of my students did when I was working. Anyway, so Webtoon posted their response. They're trying to explain how fees work and how all of that works and all of that. And it's like, it's it's the dumbest fucking thing. Like, they're saying things like about how episode fees work and how minimum revenue threshold works. And like, they're talking about how like they still pay the base $50,000, and like they're saying that, oh, we also pay the entire fast pass to the creator. Largely, what do you call it? Largely, we pay all of these things to the creator. The creator gets paid no matter what. The minimum revenue threshold is not applied to international content. They're making all these excuses, but at the end of the day, like, it's come down to looking like they're not really saying a lot. Like, I've read the entire thing. One of the first things I tried to read, and I can even read it to you. Let's read it together. Why not? Let's read it together. I've got the good bit here, so why not? So Webtoon basically goes, creators receive payments for every episode they deliver on Webtoon, but it's become very apparent that we have not done enough to communicate this fact, blah, blah, blah. The minimum revenue threshold is the minimum amount that Webtoon commits to pay the creator regardless of series performance, is what they're saying. They're saying that essentially, if a creator signs a contract with them, 50 episodes, $1,000 per episode, they pay them $50,000. Guaranteed, they will always pay that $50,000, even if the episode loses money. If the series earns $50,000 in Fast Pass, they will always pay that $50,000 in Fast Pass, no matter what. That's what they're saying here. But this does not line up. This does not line up with the creator experience at all. Like, they said all these things, and I was just like, this does not line up with the creator experience at all. At all. And it still doesn't explain. Like, who, like, where all your, like, you know, all the data that they're essentially saying that they pay you based off of, the data, like, this doesn't explain where that data is, like how to get it. In fact, they ended up going down here. They were like, who can I contact if I have questions about my earnings or series performance? And they said, contact your editors. That's the stupidest fucking thing ever. I need to download this page before they take it down. But that's the stupidest fucking thing ever. What do you mean contact my editors? My editor, what, I'm gonna contact fucking David, who was an editor for a while. I think he still is. I'm gonna contact fucking David and be like, hey David, give me my series performance information while you're just my editor. No, it's stupid. That's your job as a platform, not the editor's job. The editor's job is, the editors are already overworked. Like, I don't like all the Webtoon editors. I have problems with a lot of them. I have problems with one of them, specifically one of them, on like a creative and like human level. But at the end of the day, like, they are not your fucking little puppets to take the blame for everything that's going wrong. Like, that's so disingenuous. That's such a disingenuous line. Like, holy shit. Like, I read that and I went, oh, fuck you. They're going to be rolling out a new way to request series performance reports. Do you know what the way to request series performance reports is? Do you guys know what that is? Let me show you. Let me fucking show you. Give me a second. Let me just go to my fucking analytics. Let me go to my analytics. I'm going to show you how to request all that data. Oh, oh, it's almost like you can have a dashboard. You can have a dashboard, and then that dashboard can have all the data, the fucking data that you use. I can just look at it. I can just see it. Webtoon. It's almost like you can have this revolutionary idea called the dashboard. But maybe I'm fucking stupid. Maybe I'm the dumbest fucking person on the planet. What do you guys think? Maybe I'm a genuine fucking moron because I feel like data is so easy to access these days. You work for one of the richest companies in Korea. You don't have enough money to pay some fucking data scientist the 350, maybe $450 that they'll charge you to make one of these? Webtoon. Webtoon. Ken Kim, the CEO of Webtoon. You fucking with me? Ken Kim. Ken. Directly. This is me speaking directly to Ken Kim right now, who will never hear this. But Ken, real talk, Chief. Real talk, sister. Are you serious? Like you don't have a better idea of how to handle this problem than to make a process where I request my data. Why don't I have a live dashboard? Like, you telling me you don't have the bandwidth for that? For a live dashboard? Something that like even shittier competitors to you already have? Like I've been on, like I don't know if you guys know about this, Dilly Hub is a shitty webtoon club. I say shitty in not a derogatory way. I just mean like it's not big and doesn't have a lot of stuff. But Dilly Hub exists. They have a very in-depth like analytics dashboard. Like they have a very in-depth analytics dashboard. They aren't even a tenth of Webtoon size. They basically only have the $1 million that they only have the $1 million that that Kakao gave them years like 2-3 years ago. And they have like such an incredible dashboard. Can I log in? Can I log into my studio, to my D studio? Like it's comical when they say things like that. Global Comics has better analytics, but that's because Nimloth has like a personality disorder. I like him though; he's a cool guy. But that's because he has a personality disorder and he like fucking programmed that shit from nothing as one man. That's not normal. Like, and I mean that with love. Yeah. Saddest thing in the world, even Tapas. Shit king, like even Tapas, dick kings of shit mountain have a better fucking analytics board. What are you doing, Webtoon? What is this bullshit we're playing at here? Like they say these things like we're dumb. I think that's what annoys me about it. They say these things like we're all fucking stupid. Like I think the worst part about this is I told people, I said everyone, Webtoon is stupid. They're not obviously malicious. But like, I still think that, but I now think that they are more malicious than they've ever been. And then they think that because they're stupid, that we're stupid. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? You're going to request your data, make a dashboard, and fuck off. I shouldn't have to speak to anybody to know what my metrics are. Ever. Like, what the like, holy shit. I should send Ken Kim an email. Anyway, all that shit kicks off. And then other creators start to talk about their experiences and talk about what's happened to them. I've told you guys this before about like low pay. The creators of Shiloh talk about how making 2 comics for Webtoon was basically fucking hell. Webtoon doesn't pay them for pre-production, so it was just a nightmare of basically working for free until Webtoon finally paid them eventually, and how nightmarish it was, and like how much stress and exhaustion it brought to them. And I wish that they talked about this earlier. I don't know why they didn't talk about this earlier, but I get it. The trauma gets to you. I'm not here to fucking victim shame. And like it makes me think a lot more about Snot. No, is it Snot? I forgot what their name is. The creator of Religiously Gay. I messaged them ages ago. Like, hey, did Webtoon give you any like backing, checking on you, make sure that checking on you and like what you were putting out there? They never responded to me. But from every other creator I've spoken to, Webtoon regularly is supposed to like check your content, make sure it passes the sniff test, make sure you're not making anything that's like horrible. But like they talk a lot about how Webtoon did not support them post-release when things got really bad and their mental health deteriorated. And like on the one hand, I'm very much the one person with the idea of like, I read your comic. While it's tame and harmless, like you came in with content that like, unless you were like 14, is obviously controversial. But at the same time, like if you're not getting supported by a platform who licensed that content and allowed you to publish that content, that's shit. That's dog shit. No amount of like fucking, no amount of like, hey, you should have known better, right, will ever justify their BS in this matter. No amount of you should know will ever justify their BS in this matter. It is comical. Also, looks if I'm going to have to mod you. I'm going to make you my moderator on YouTube because I need one on YouTube. Anyway, you've been modded now. Anyway, so, okay, shit. Like while complaining about Webtoon, I just raised my blood sugar so high I got a cramp. Shit. Oh my god. Webtoon is like it's comical. Anyway, let me read some comments. Let me see what people are saying. From Jenny Tunes on Twitch. I mean, there's still enough people who'd willingly defend the company. So it's not crazy that they keep acting this way. Who's defending Webtoon? Who? I actually want to know who the fuck is defending Webtoon? Who are they? Give me their names. I need to know where they live. Like, what the fuck? Who? Zombies on Reddit. People on Reddit aren't real. Like, that doesn't fucking matter. Give me their name, Kaji. Tell me who they are. From Luxiva. I think the point of the letter that was real fucking scary was when they told a creator really pressed for the data, and turns out they earned the MRT already, but Webtoon made a quote unquote mistake. But like the way they actually have made a quote unquote mistake and cheated the creator from revenue that they would never have known if they didn't go hard on getting the data, makes you lose trust, which is terrible when they made a system where you are almost forced to trust them because you can't see your own data. That's scary. Like, no, you're totally fucking right. And in fact, this mistake shit is old. Back in 2016, 2017, when I was working with a certain creator in Canvas, like they forgot to pay her for 2 months. And then 1 month they suddenly paid her $2,000. Which is, the inconsistency is ridiculous. And like they eventually paid her, but like what? You know what I mean? Like one of your top performing comics at the time, and you forgot to pay them for 2 months? What the fuck? Lots of people on Reddit were disappointed. I mean, I don't know why they're surprised. Kaji who? Kaji, you need to DM me their name on Discord. I need to know who they are. Maybe I've forgotten, but you need to know who they are. The lack of advertising, from Demidot in the chat, the lack of advertising is nuts, man. I just read an original Webtoon and I was like, wow, this is really good. Writing is strong. Composition is great. Art is striking. I hope it has a lot of attention. One of the worst performing Webtoons, bruh. Like, I think what's funny is now Webtoon is requesting creators give them their the Twitter account for their comic, give them access to the Twitter account for their comic. I think that's their attempt to like do better advertising by using every single outside platform to cross promote and all that stuff. But like, holy shit, man! Like, holy shit, it is comical. It is comically bad. Like, it doesn't even help that doesn't help that their ads, their regular ads to attract people are bad. Then the promotion of the comics are bad. Then they're publishing new shit like on a weekly basis right now. Then like on a daily basis right now. Like, that is just so much stuff that's overloading the user base. And most of it isn't even from their homegrown creators, who they should probably be more concerned about considering what's holding up Webtoon English is their homegrown fucking creators. Like, what the fuck? Your two biggest creators are homegrown. How are you not supporting those people the most? Then, like, on top of all of that, you have terrible discoverability on your app, on your website, everywhere. Like, this is comical. The pay is not good and livable. I look, as someone who has spent so much time with creators and their pay, the pay is not good and livable. I try. I tried. I know I knew about the Latam rates for ages. I just never wanted to tell you guys. I've known about the Latam rates being about half of everyone else. Latin American rates have been low from the start. The justification was that Latin America has a lower cost of living, which like is stupid. Um, but like, yeah. Also, things like they barely pay for translations. Translated comics don't really transfer their money backwards to the creator. In fact, most of it gets lost. The creator of Chocolate, what was it again? That comic that vanished off the face of the planet, Chocolate Tea or whatever. Forgot what it was called. Choco Tea or Choco Latte. I think it was Choco Latte. That comic that comic is like gone. That comic is gone now. But Choco Latte's creator was talking about how their comic has been translated in 8 languages. It's everywhere, and she barely makes any money. Now, in fairness, the Choco Latte creator is an NFT stooge. But like on the other hand as well, like they're right. It's ridiculous. Translators I've spoken to who work for Kakao and not Webtoon talked about how rough the turnaround time is, how low the pay is, and how rough the turnaround time is. There was a translator I used to talk to a little bit. I forgot to keep in touch. I need to actually get back on that. It is so comically stupid. The poor management, the mismanagement, the terrible work environment. Okay, I'm going to reveal something to you guys about just something I've learned about Webtoon through my investigation. Like, Webtoon's work environment is terrible. It's comically bad. Like, I'm sure nowadays maybe it's a little bit different. They've hired all new staff. Lots of things have changed right now in Webtoon right now. But like there was a period of time where it was so laughably bad. I will never forget that one of the workers at Webtoon was made to cry during a meeting where they essentially brought her in to tell her that she was useless. And she cried in front of everyone because they made, I don't know if they still do, but they used to have an open plan room. And she cried in front, because it's an open plan thing, she cried in front of everyone. And while the source of this information is dubious because it's from a person who has a lot to gain from making Webtoon look bad, the other hand, the information seems to check out with a lot of other things. So I'm not going to call it confirmed, but I'm going to say that the fact that a story like that even exists at all is very concerning. That's it. That's what I'm going to say on that. It's ridiculous. The Webtoon subreddit is like a very sad place. I had to ban. If you guys are wondering why like there are fewer posts about boyfriends on there, I had to ban quite a lot of people posting about boyfriends. That was me. I made a big stink. I started deleting messages and stuff. Started deleting posts. I was supposed to put more rules up, but I got busy. But like, yeah, you're gonna see more rules on there soon because like they're such fucking children. But like, yeah, it is like the anger that they have, but also like the people defending Webtoon on this are just so comically bad. It's so scary that Canvas has more visibility than Webtoon originals do. Comically stupid. Um, like, like I can't believe I'm saying this. Tapas is doing everything right in this regard. What do you do? What's wrong with you, Webtoon? How are you losing to the fucking grifter CEO Chang Kim? What? What the fuck? It's fine. I will. Whatever. Anyway, someone called originals Canvas Plus, and I died. Yes, it is. That's pretty much all it is. It's a hellscape. Fuck me. Like, as the information continued to unfold, somebody broke down Webtoon's FAQ response. And like one of the things I found out was and we're going to go back to, I need to just kind of finish this story so I can move on to the next thing. One of the things I found out from this is like with all the things relating to the love bot, like response, seems like Webtoon responded to them. Webtoon ended up responding to them by basically saying, and I'm just going to get to it real quick now. Webtoon responded to them by basically saying, hey, they got back to them and they said, we appreciate the time you took. Please know we are listening. We are always here to listen and learn from the creative community. While possible, please list some dates and times you're available so we can talk to you. Basically, they wanted to talk to the two of them. And they responded, and Lovebot's creators responded back basically saying, that's great. Many creators are available. We personally are available. Many creators want to talk about this, and I think that it should be an open live stream so that everyone can hear about this. But we, the two of them, Lovebot's creators, are available at certain dates, and we can choose those dates, and we will try and use those dates to invite as many people as possible. And then Webtoon declined and refused to do an open live stream, saying that an open live stream will not be possible. They would like to discuss their concerns directly with her as both a creator and business partner to Webtoon. To address your concerns, we need to discuss your data and revenue details, which could not be appropriate to share in a public setting. As such, we would not consent to any type of live streaming or recording. That's a bullshit tactic. They're using the tactic of, well, we can't do this because it has personal information. As the person who owns the personal information, Chase and Maria so Chase and Miranda totally have complete rights to allow their data to be shown publicly. Webtoon did not even give them the option, which means that Webtoon is trying to reject it based on a false equivalence, which is ridiculous. They're saying that it would put their teams at risk of online harassment. It would not. Just don't show your face on anything. We don't need to see your face. We just need to hear your voice. I don't give a shit who you are. I just give a shit what you know. And of course, Chase responded going, while inside declining this live stream between us and other creators, I have to insist on at least a recording of our conversation from myself and my personal legal team, even if it isn't shared with anyone else. It seems like Chase is actually the one pushing this. If this is not acceptable to you, then I will be forced to decline the meeting entirely. I still deeply want to discuss these matters with you. Webtoon proceeded to basically reject the call. So Webtoon proceeded to reject the call. Chase obviously added additional details about how this is not just about them, this is about everyone, etc., etc. The call, it seems like it's not happening. It might happen. I'm going down the tweet, so I might come down and find out that no, it is happening, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, Webtoon then posted, the call seems to, no, not that. The call has not been responded to at least publicly. We don't know what the response is, but we do know that Webtoon declined to create a live stream. Webtoon then posted their public post where they say a bunch of bullshit. Many creators are talking about what they want to ask Webtoon, and that's good to hear that they're talking. I'm actually very glad to hear that creators are talking. I know, how many red flags can you have? Like at this point, jump ship. I don't know why any of you are with Webtoon. Your IP is worthless. Get a new IP. Frankly, this is not worth the effort. Like, there was this concept back in the old days with written comics, where you would make an IP for a big comic company and you'd kind of just like drop it because frankly, you could make that IP again with different color palettes somewhere else. Like, it's comical. Yeah, so many red flags. They should change their logo to red. But like, look, I'm gonna try and be balanced and fair and balanced. The slogan of Fox News, because as a Fox watcher myself, I'm trying to be fair and balanced. That's such a statement, man. Fuck me. Whoever clips that out of context, I'm so fucked. Anyway, while I'm trying to be fair and balanced, people continue to talk about how they have received zero communication, with even May, the creator of Brimstones and Roses, talking about how, despite all of this, zero communication, zero email. Why is there not a wide area band email like that linked to this post? This community post should have gone out as well in a wide band email to every single creator. It didn't have to just be tweeted out and hope for the best that everyone hears about it. That's just a shit thing to do. Show them that you even pretend to give a shit. And then like you talk in there, you're like, how does Webtoon promote my work? Every original series on Webtoon received promotion across multiple channels, blah, 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 blah. And like, there are so many series that don't get more than one promotion opportunity during launch. Like, holy shit. Like, like it's such a bullshit thing to say. They say things like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, and they talk about how like the data that creators, the original creators have access to is pretty much only what the public has access to. Imagine if, as me as a YouTube creator, I as a YouTube creator said to you, the only thing I know about my YouTube metrics is based on what you know about my YouTube metrics. Like, that's so fucking jadedly stupid. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Like, holy shit. And they refuse to talk about the pay disparities for underperforming comics. Like, the fact that they're underpaying Latin American creators, it is ridiculous. Like, Webtoon is, what the fuck? Webtoon is so full of shit. Guys, just leave him. Listen, Webtoon is an abusive boyfriend, and you just have to leave him. You can't keep playing this game, okay? Like, look, you're my friend. I love you. But you can't keep being with Webtoon. Every single time you go back to him, all he does is hurt you and take from you, and then like take your money. Like it's. Don't you feel sad? And then like the only response to me saying that entire fucking monologue is literally just like, yeah, but like Webtoon does that thing with his tongue that I like. Oh my god, so sus. Webtoon is like, oh yeah. You want to know a message I got from Luxiva? So one fucking fateful day, I was having a real long day after doing a bunch of house viewings. Luxiva messages me, goes, "Did you know that Webtoon creators aren't paid for the promotional assets?" I was like, yeah. I feel like it was very anticlimactic, Luxiva. That when you messaged me that, because I was so blasé about it. I was so like, yeah, I've known the whole time. It's so mid. It's so base, and it's so based and chad pilled that they're not paying their creators. And I was basically like explaining to you, it's like I think explaining to you like why comic platforms do it, because more than Webtoon does it, other comic platforms don't pay for some promotional material. Other comic platforms do not pay for promotional material. Also, I think it's really funny that somebody posted in chat, but I can change him, Dad. You can't change Webtoon, guys. You know, he's a bad motherfucker. Um, you can't change Webtoon. I'm sorry. You know, he lives by his own rules. Anyway, look, fundamentally, when it comes to this information and all of this stuff, just like so much shit happened. And like I thought I didn't understand it fully, and it upsets me that I understood it fully. I need to say this to you genuinely with all honesty. Webtoon is not a good company. Like, and I mean that not just like in the doy, not a good company, but I mean that in like this desire. Okay, basically, look, in queer theory, this is me about to pull some fucking philosophy off my ass. In queer theory, there's this idea that oppressed groups, and just in philosophy as a whole, this idea that oppressed groups like to negotiate with their oppressors for the hope that the oppressor will change, right? The hope that the oppressor will become a different person. They hope that the oppressor will slowly grow and like do the good thing because the good thing makes sense. And like oppressed groups do that because they fail to understand on a fundamental level that the oppressor knows what they're doing is wrong, but they financially, personally, in whatever way that matters to them, really gain from your oppression. And like companies do this on a micro scale, right? The stuff I'm talking about is what happens in like broad strokes, economies, systems, and all that shit. Companies do this on a micro scale. They understand that keeping you under the boot heel, down, trodden as fuck, is the only way they can maintain power. Webtoon is happy that nobody goes to Tapas. I'm gonna give you the strangest thing I ever said. Pitch to Tapas. Pitch to fucking everybody. All right? Please stop. Like, look, they're the only thing propping up this industry economically. I'm going to admit that now. But the only reason that the only thing propping up this industry economically is because we let them be the only people propping up this industry economically. You can't change the rot that is set deep in this company. The only thing you can do is wait until they fuck off. If you're so clingy over your fucking IP, take your IP and change a few names around. You'll be fine. Okay? There's a reason why we used to have 2 Captain Marvels. You'll be fine. Change some names around. Change some people's skin tones. Redraw some characters. You'll live. Frankly, it's worth the extra work to be with somebody that will treat you better on the pure basis that you are another human being that deserves to not be treated like shit. Okay? Like it's comical. Like, don't go to Legend though. Don't go to Legend though. They're fucking shady. But like unless you really need to put an adult comic out, don't go to Legend. But there's other platforms. Post your comic elsewhere. Do things to promote yourself and get popular. Prioritize posting your social media. Like it is, look, guys, whenever I start a live stream here, I talk about like my fucking patreon.com/webcomics hub, right? Do you know why I do that? Why I talk about that every single time? I talk about that because like, I know that at the start of the video or the stream or whatever is usually when most of you are here. And I want you all to hear that shit because it's important for me. It is comical to me that sometimes I open a Webtoon and like, I don't know who made the Webtoon until the bottom. Please, at the top, I'm going to show you a comic that is a bad example, but just bear with me. Like literally at the top of your comics, if you're going to be like making fucking Zatanna and the Ripper, right beneath it, write your fucking name and write your fucking at. I'm actually mad that people don't do this. Use your platform for you. For you. You're number one in this game. The only person looking out for you between you and this shitty company is you. Please, I'm begging you. I'm sitting here. I'm on my knees. I'm literally on my knees. I'm just so tall that I can talk into the mic while on my knees. I'm begging you. Have some self-respect. Have some self-love. Do this for you and no one else. Don't let this shitty little company take advantage of you. Like, I went over everything and I'm just like, Webtoon is the only one economically holding up our industry because we let them economically hold up our industry. Fundamentally, they don't have to be the only ones doing this because on a fundamental level, we just keep going back to them. They're our abusive boyfriend that we go back to every fucking week. And we need to stop. We need to stop doing that. We need to go to other people, accept that there will be slight pay cuts in terms of overall potential earnings, but accept the fact that like this new place is better. And if we all diversify just enough, they will have to be competitive. They're not doing anything to help to be good to us because they don't have to compete. Who does Webtoon compete with in the English market? Who? Fucking Tumix? Fucking Comico that's out of business? Like, who the fuck do they compete with? No one. They don't compete with shit. They're the number one platform in 99 countries. They don't compete with shit. They don't even imagine that there's competition. Like they literally, I've read investor reports. They talk about competition the same way Amazon talks about competition. Amazon doesn't talk about the competition. They only compete with themselves. Like I'm reading Webtoon press releases and it's just like blah, 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 blah. And then just talking about how they compete with themselves. There's no, I'm not saying that Tapas is better. I'm saying that Tapas is better in terms of like, it's ultimately the best place. I'm saying that the more places that we diversify to, the more that each individual platform has to become competitive to hold your attention. And also, I will say this again for the 1000th time, because now I'm having like a high viewership count. I need to make sure that all of you can hear this fucking shit. Make a collective, you stupid bitch. Fuck me. Make a collective. Make a collective. Grab 6 of your friends, make a collective. Meet other collectives. Work together on the basis of understanding what good pay is. Make sure when you guys negotiate, you negotiate similar ideas. Share that shit. And when you make a collective, make it a thing that when you sign up with a new comic, that you get to promote your collective. Nothing is like cross-promote yourselves and make yourselves a unit that does not rely on the company. Then they need to negotiate with you in a different way. Like, that's literally the Hiveworks model on a micro scale. Like, please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you guys. Some self-love. Please make your fucking collectives. If you don't fucking make the collective, I'll make the fucking collective. Frankly, I'll make it. I'll earn the money. I'll do the base. I'll make the collective. I'll do the collective bargaining. Fuck it. Because this is ridiculous. This is almost fucking stupid. This is so dumb. Like I regularly watch all these problems come down, and like on a fundamental level, they just like, we don't have enough bargaining power because we don't bargain together, and the industry gets to take advantage of us because they know that we don't bargain together. That's what it's like hearing the news. And then as such, they take advantage of us and they do shitty things because they refuse, they see that we are vulnerable, and that they know that we don't bargain together, that we don't have understandings of shared things like minimum viable payments. Like, question, guys. I can't tell you some information with identifying things, but I know things like one of our viewers, can I find him? One of our viewers has some of our viewers, not just one. Some of our viewers have kindly given me lots of their information about like payment and stuff like that. I have a lot of payment information, especially from people who've worked as assistants. I've spoken to a few of them now, and like the numbers are like Webtoon can afford to pay you well. Okay, Webtoon can afford to pay you well. They can afford to pay you well. They can afford to pay you a decent wage. They refuse to. They can afford to pay you well. I will never forget. I will never not forget this day. The year that one of my friends got offered $60,000 for a year to draw Rot and fucking Ruin. Like, holy shit. I think it was Rot and Ruin. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Rot and Ruin. Like, what was back? It was either Rot and Ruin or a different podcast, or a different comic, but a comic based on a podcast, which based on a podcast and a novel. And I think it was Rot and Ruin. It might have been something else. But they got offered $60,000 for a full year to draw like a webtoon, guaranteed $60K to draw every chapter of the webtoon. They were going to be working at a reasonable pace to earn $60K that year. That doesn't sound like a lot of money to you Americans, probably if you live in California or something. But like outside of America, $60K is what engineers make. It's a lot of money. You know, like there's a lot of money that they have, that they can throw around. It feels so weird that like they act like this. And if we work together, we can avoid them taking advantage of us. And also another thing somebody brought up, somebody's bringing up in chat from Jenny Tunes. Like almost immediately there was a canvas versus originals argument when this came out. It irritated me so much. How can we have a collective when people are so ready to eat each other and not the rich? Like unironically, if you think that like look, as a canvas creator, I get why you're upset. Like these people are complaining about getting paid. And you're just like, everyone's getting paid, you know? I get why you're mad at them, but like, you know who you shouldn't be mad at? The worker. You shouldn't be mad at the worker for getting their money. Even if they're getting paid millions of dollars, don't be mad at the worker. Be mad that the fucking company wants to siphon the worker's money for their own ends. Complain about the fact that there's not enough money going around. That's fair, but that's not their fault. They don't pay, the feature creators don't pay your salaries. They do what they can. Now, I will admit, feature creators regularly distance themselves from the industry and make it very hard for people to approach them. As such, it's very hard to understand who they are as people. At the same time, I get it because they feel maligned. And it makes it harder for us to work and coalesce together. But also feature creators simultaneously, you need to be more vocal. Like you need to be vocal. I can confirm that 60,000 US dollars a year is enough to turn my life around. Yeah, like holy shit. It's wild. Being mad at the workers instead of the man makes no sense. This entire situation literally boils down to this. Like I sit down and I think about this. I read Naver investor reports in fucking Korean. Like I'm reading fucking Korean, and I'm dying reading Korean, and it's just like it's me going through and just going, we're like, you guys are letting me read all this Korean, and then you're fighting over bullshit. Get over each other. Get over yourselves and work together. What do you mean? Don't be such a fucking loser. Like, holy shit. God. Like Webtoon creators need to make more complaints. They need to bitch more. Legally, they can't stop you from complaining. They can't legally stop you from complaining. Any business related arguments they make, what they're doing every time they come to you and they tell you that, well, we can sue you, is they're trying to silence you. They legally cannot stop you from complaining. I need to stress this to you. Webtoon cannot legally stop you from complaining. They cannot stop you from complaining. They cannot contractually obligate that you do not talk about the business. They can't, all they can do is say you can't release secrets, but you can talk about your experiences. They can't take that away from you. They cannot take that away from you unless you signed a contract letting them do that, in which case, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? But like, oh, holy shit, this whole thing is it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating and exhausting. It's so frustrating and exhausting because like, I watch this happen over and over again in every industry. Like one of the things that somebody said to me about this situation, this is one of those people who was like just asking questions, not jacking off, but just asking questions. And they were genuinely like, okay, I get what the problem with all this, but like if Webtoon paid everyone a fair wage, wouldn't that mean the industry would be like, because their fair wage is quite high, wouldn't that negatively affect the money-making potential of the industry? Somebody in your life is going to say that question, ask you that question or say that statement to you. They're full of shit. The movie industry has been paying people fair wages for years now, years and years and years. Everyone in the unions get paid fair wages, and the movie industry continues to exist despite paying people ridiculous amounts of money for 3 months of work. Albeit it's because for 6 months after that they don't have work, but the point remains. The movie industry has lived and died paying people fair wages for the most part. So like, the industry's still up. It's not dead. It's not gone. It won't kill Webtoon or any of these fucking companies to pay fair wages. You need to demand more. You need to read your contracts more. You need to be more willing to push the envelope. Like there are creators who I talk to who tell me about how they don't want to push the envelope too much during negotiation in case Webtoon goes, I don't want to work with you anymore. Let Webtoon say that. Like if they can't answer all your questions, are you sure you really want to be involved with a company that can't do that bare minimum for you? That can't answer your basic ass questions? Come on. Like when I say have some self-love, this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean. Don't let them wrangle you into their bullshit. Negotiate hard. Ask a lot of questions. Their legal team takes 2 weeks to get back to anybody about any questions. Keep asking questions. Get a lawyer if you can afford to. If you cannot afford to, learn to read legal documentation. It's a skill that will serve you well. Don't be a fucking like twat. Actually work hard on making sure that you are capable of keeping yourself informed as well as like finding out information from other people. Like, there's a lot you could do for you. Like, there's a lot that you could do on your own to make sure that you are safe fundamentally from their bullshit. God, it's like, this whole thing is super frustrating because it's just a lot of things that I've talked about with creators all lining up, all coming together at the same time. And I feel my brain melt because every week, frankly, and I didn't miss 3 weeks of a podcast. If anyone says I missed 3 weeks of the podcast, they're lying. The last 3 weeks aren't real. Today is September the 1st. Every week, every week for basically months at this point, I have talked about issues like this, talked about how we don't have enough negotiating power, talked about how our creators don't know enough, our creators don't have enough friends, so they don't talk about this shit. And like this, all this stuff, Webtoon, all this happening in Webtoon, is all these things getting weaponized. They're weaponizing your passion and your lack of available information against you. And your fear, your anxiety, your inability to be hard-headed and strong-willed in the face of their bullshit. They're weaponizing that shit against you. And it's good to see somebody like Moran Chase, both of them, like standing up for that shit and going, no, you can't use me for the things that I care about. And I think that's really useful to see because it frustrates me to no end. I'm so glad that like I read that creator letter expecting some bullshit. I need to say, I don't know who wrote it. Maybe it was Chase, maybe it was Miranda, maybe it was both of them at the same time. But whoever wrote that letter, good job. You could have stood to be more of a dick, frankly. But good job. You could have written more asshole-ish things, and I would have called them fucking assholes like somewhere. I know it's not the most negotiator-friendly thing to say, but frankly, you know what isn't negotiator-friendly? Not paying me on time or like not telling me my fucking metrics. So frankly, I think we're well past the level of like trying to negotiate with these fucking morons. I'm gonna lose my Webtoon influencer badge, and I couldn't give a shit. I bet I'm gonna lose it. Like, I don't say anything nice about Webtoon ever. But you know what? Fuck it. Because frankly, they can't mistreat my friends and expect me to act like they don't. Like, that's so fucking ridiculous. I personally know creators getting paid as low as 800 base with and FastPass not kicking in for months for all the stupid reasons they want to give. Their comics never getting promoted. Like and like Webtoon has the gall, the fucking stones, the fucking cojones, right? To come here, right? To come here with the fucking chutzpah to come here and act like this, act like, oh guys, you don't understand. We like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like Webtoon, you're a multinational company. Why don't you have colorists and assistants on payroll that like that can add value to the creator's work? Because when the creators actually complete work on time, you benefit. Like it's clearly like a long-term salaried colorist assistant, a few, not 1,000, I guess, but like 20 would add more value to you as a company that can be shown around to new creators, not to everyone old, but to the newest of creators to help them starting out, could add tons of value to your company. And you haven't done that? And you're basically telling, like, what are you offering these people? What, fucking $800, no benefits, all, and then they gotta pay their own taxes and do their own taxes, and then they gotta like pay their own assistants. What are you offering people? What the fuck is your angle? What's your positive point? Who the fuck are you? Fuck me. Whatever. I'm in such a bad mood now that I've thought about this. I'm in such a bad fucking mood. Because it's so insulting. It's so insulting. If you're not angry at the end of this talk, if you're not mad at this bullshit, right? If you're not angry and mad and upset, I swear to God, you need to fucking get your head checked. You need to get your head checked. You need to get your head checked. You need to drink some fucking water and wake the fuck up because like you're not looking properly. Anyway, let me just calm down. Let me relax. Bad working conditions upset us. Bad working conditions upset us indeed. Welcome, by the way. Hi, Thunder. And from Suya, my friend, my darling, my sweetheart, the boyfriend of my heart. No need to offer much when they're preying on inexperienced artists who believe their empty promises. Oh God, we need to more. This is actually a really good point from Sia. We need to protect our inexperienced artists. Stop selling them lies. We need to be real with them. Like somebody was telling me, like, you got to be nice to inexperienced artists because you want to make sure that they enjoy making art. No, we need to be real. The movie industry. When I started making movies, when I started working in movies and film, I remember my first job as a key grip. No, my first job was a lighting guy before I became a key grip. My first ever job as a lighting guy. And like they basically told me it's gonna be a miserable day, it's going to rain, get over it. And like that's the industry. They want you to care. If you care about creating, you already care about creating. No one's gonna take that away from you if you genuinely want to make things. So you need to know all the bad shit to look out for. Otherwise, making things is going to suck. Please, when you see a new creator saying some dumb shit, don't insult them. Don't call them a moron, but tell them what's up for real. Prep work and pro masters unpaid, assistants are paid out by the creators' own pockets. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck are they giving us? I know, right? This is so dumb. It's so dumb. Like, I can't imagine how many people just lose their will to make things. Like, I don't think I ever told you guys when I started programming at the beginning of my career as a programmer, before I did anything else, a programmer. I used to love programming. And then I did my computer science degree. And my degree was so demanding in many ways that I didn't want it to be, that it killed my love of computing. And I haven't programmed anything bar small personal projects since. I used to sit down and design full length games, design, pace, plan out. And I was like in the process of programming one. And now, and like, it's because I didn't know how bad the industry was going to be, how bad the education for computing was going to be. I didn't know what to expect. I was sold these lies by these people. And now I'm an adult. I know, but like, holy shit. You know, and I feel like we're doing a disservice to our young creators, our new creators. We don't tell them this stuff like immediately. Like all the benefits that used to be for originals are spread so thin because there are so many originals. Yeah, like Webtoon. If you guys don't know, Webtoon has a contract with Naver Webtoon Korea to import a certain amount of comics a year, and like they have to do that. Webtoon isn't oversaturated though. Webtoon isn't oversaturated. I need to make this clear. They're not oversaturated. I need to make this clear. They are not oversaturated. They are underperforming because they are understaffed and because their platform is under is yeah, because their platform, it has too few features related to discovery and related to promotion. Like, let me show you this. YouTube also has featured creators that they care about. YouTube does. YouTube has creators that they like the most, that they promote more than everyone. That's just true. It's just the truth, right? These creators are typically big, so even that additional promotion is just, you know, a thing that was going to happen anyway. But YouTube definitely has those creators. They definitely have those creators. An example is really simple. I haven't watched a Ludwig video in maybe 4 months. Yeah, 4 months. I'm going to show you something now on my front page. This is my YouTube front page. There's a Ludwig video. There's a Ludwig short. If you don't know, there's one that says, "You said 4 McChickens," right there. Like this one here that is like, that's glowing. That's a Ludwig video. And I haven't watched Ludwig in ages. They're promoting Ludwig more and more. But you know what YouTube also has that's really fucking cool? When I watch people's videos, when I watch content, YouTube tries to introduce me to new people based on that content. Tries to introduce me to new content based on that content. And Webtoon does not. Like there is no system through which I can, like where they can do that. That they do that effectively. I've never discovered a single Webtoon on Webtoon. Do you know one of the things I learned when trying to read all 3,000 contest entry Webtoons is how many of them I didn't know were there, despite, you know, being one of the people who like was talking about the contest throughout. I found so many that I hadn't seen ever. Never came up once because they didn't even promote the fucking contest properly. Like, a tagging system is useful, but they need look, I can explain all the things that they need to do, but frankly, Webtoon doesn't pay me any money. I know what they need to do. I've worked with people on this before. I've written papers on this before. I've done a lot of study and computing about what really works for metrics and what doesn't. There's a lot of really good research out there as well in terms of discoverability and platforms, especially based around YouTube. This is a solved, not a solved, but this is a semi-solved science. The only reason why they haven't done it is because they couldn't be fucked. Funnily enough, one of the most influential things out there about like recommendation and spread is the paper that about PewDiePie and like how he keeps pulling people to the alt-right. It's an old paper. But like stuff like that exists. There's a really good cloud map that somebody made ages ago that linked creators to each other based on like their overlap and like how often they work closely together and how that spread works. There's lots of data points they could use to understand how to sell people, and they don't. Like, they could just ask TikTok what their fucking system is, and they don't. The TikTok uses for a recommendation, and they don't. They don't do anything in that regard. The Webtoon front page needs a complete overhaul in the way that it fundamentally works. Promotion, like when people talk about promotion of a Webtoon and Webtoons getting promoted, I always think, yeah, that's actually something that we need. We need Webtoons getting promoted. Some Webtoons need to be promoted so that we know what it's like making X or Y or Z Webtoons get be promoted, so we know what new Webtoon is out. But you know what's annoying about Webtoon promotion is that Webtoon promotions go to everybody. Like, the worst part about the Webtoon banner is that it goes to everyone, which makes it have a very low effect and actually a very low turnover, because most people don't care about the banner. But even more relevantly, the people that do, most of them are not fans of your comic. That's just the way life works. Most people aren't unordinary fans. Most people aren't the fans of most new comics. So like, a targeted promotional system is needed, which would be achievable if they had a better algorithm. You ever heard of my buddy Algo? Yeah, they say he's got a rhythm in his steps. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. I just thought about it. I was like, oh, I got to bring that one up so that everyone could laugh at me for the next 12 years. Just it's so ridiculous. It just like it feels like I'm screaming into the void. But the only reason I continue to scream into the void is because I'm screaming with you guys. Because we're all screaming into the deep depths of the void. Yeah, no, you're right. Would it kill him to promote different comics outside? I don't know. They need, like, there's so many things they could be doing in terms of outreach. But fundamentally, Webtoon's issue isn't that they're not promoting comics outside per se. I think one of Webtoon's major issues is that they don't know how to promote themselves. Like, I've shown you guys Webtoon ads before. I've shown you guys so many Webtoon ads before, and you've seen them. You've seen so many of them, and they're cryptic as fuck. The Lore Olympus ad is literally the Lore Olympus ad with Sybil, whatever her name is literally it's like finding the Rosetta Stone. Like, it's impossible to parse. Like, it's I don't know. It's something else. It's something else when it comes to Webtoon. Anyway, I need to stop talking about this before I fucking die. Before I fucking die. I know there's so many things everyone wants to say. Everyone's gonna drag me down the rabbit hole of talking about like Canvas promotion and shit. But I need to have a second that isn't based on this shit. I need to have a second where I'm not thinking about Webtoon and how incompetent they are for a minute. Like, oh. Like, as I was catching up to this news after moving to my new place, like, I cannot express to you how exhausted I was reading it. It caused me such legitimate pain as to leave me with the worst migraine I've had in, like, 5 years. It was comically bad. Anyway, let me just focus. Let me focus. I just need a second to like turn down my brain and stop being angry. Okay. Anyway, let me just read some comments. What annoyed me the most when I first posted on Webtoon was the lack of genres your comic can fall under. It looked lazy and inefficient when it comes to discovery. I actually should say I think the dual genre thing is good. Limiting genres is really good for algorithms. It really is, because it allows you to focus on the most important aspect of an IP, and that allows you to do better recommendations. I don't think that it should be so few genres in general, but two to tag a comic is good. I think it's good enough. Every Webtoon ad is quite bad. It's just true. And they always promote the same comics. Okay, cool. That's good. Anyway, so I want to talk to you guys about something funny, something that I would say is a haha moment. Even, this is a light story, guys. It's a light story. I think I say a light story like it's true. I'm lying to you, but it is a somewhat light story. So do you guys know about the SoCal Anime Convention? The SoCal Anime Convention. Have you guys heard all the news? SoCal Anime Convention was run by a company. Was run by SoCal Anime, the Instagram page. Let me see if I can find their page. Is it housesense.us? Let me see. No, it's not that one. Anyway, here it is. Here's the Instagram post in question. Yeah, what part? Like, oh God, you guys are gonna make me get into this more. Here's the Instagram post in question that I'm just going to pivot to quickly without even going backwards, because I think it's really funny. So this is the SoCal Anime Convention that was happening in Pomona Fairplex in Pomona in California, featuring hundreds of vendors, an exhibitor hall, artist alley, special guests, performances, photo area, blah 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 blah. Looks really cool. Seems nice. Run by a company called Hyacinth. We're all for conventions. I do love me a convention. Even though I don't live in SoCal, I do usually watch conventions online. I'm just gonna tell you how the convention ended. The venue was empty. The venue was, and I mean empty in a very legitimate sense of the word. The venue was empty. The people didn't show up. Somebody they only sold like 600 total tickets, and halfway through the third day, I believe, the person running the event, someone called Affinity, ran away. Like, they just left. They left without saying a word to anybody. They were charging Anime Expo level prices for this convention. This is the one where the staff dipped. Yeah, they're charging Anime Expo level prices for this convention, with none of the legitimacy Anime Expo has. And people paid for them, showed up to empty booths and empty spaces. It was ridiculous. It was comical. It was a joke. They also put their artist alley outside. And one of the ways they showed you where the artist alley was they literally, this is for me, very funny. They literally wrote artist hall. Artist hall. Visit artist hall on a bin. You gotta love that symbolism. Anyway, the artist alley wasn't outside. It was in a different building entirely. It was in a different building entirely. The person running it, and they also wrote it on the. Somebody eventually did this. Somebody drew a ball pit on the floor, like this. Somebody drew a ball pit on the floor, which I think is very funny and very apt. Please take turns so all attendees can enjoy the ball pit. Then taped it to the floor. So, gotta love them. Anyway, it's very funny. Ha ha ha. The person who was running it, Affinity, is quoted as saying stuff like, "We're exploring and exhausting every option I have. I don't have much control on the financial situation. I don't want to give you incorrect information." But essentially, it's a situation of like Affinity trying to solve the issue that is currently going on with the way the convention turned out so terribly. Like the I'm assuming, yeah, I'm assuming the Affinity person is a single individual and not a company. And I also want to say real quick, just to be very serious, there was one of the people running the convention attempted to, I believe it was Affinity. One of the people who was running the convention attempted to kill themselves. That is a thing that happened. That is a thing that happened. One of the people trying to run the event tried to kill themselves, and that is unfortunate. Okay, back to dunking on this event. Anyway, it seems on the overall, it was poorly run, poorly done, and they were paying a lot of money. Artists were made to pay a lot of money to get in here, despite there being almost no attendees. What I wanted to get to here, that was really important for me though, is I wanted to talk about conventions, and I wanted to talk about legitimacy and pricing. The reason all this stuff was brought up to me was essentially because one of my friends was talking to me about how competitive the entire con scene is getting, and how there's so much price hiking. All the cons are raising their prices just for artists to get in, artists that likes to get in, to make people pay a fuck ton of money just for the chance to sell things. And it got me thinking a lot more about cons. And, I had some opinions. Nobody peed in the ball pit. But I had some opinions about cons. I wanted to say them to you guys. You guys tell me if I'm full of shit. That's the conversation I wanted us to have. So here's what I got going on. This entire event was poorly managed, and that's obvious. It was poorly managed. It was poorly done. They didn't do any advertising, as far as anyone can tell. They were charging crazy prices for tables. And when it comes to the cost of tables, especially, which is the thing that got me, it got me thinking, why do people charge a lot of money for tables? So you guys don't know this. You guys don't know this. Maybe you do. I'm a big gamer. If you notice, I'm a gamer with a capital G. Yeah. I hate women. Yeah, I fucking hate minorities. That's what makes me a gamer. Yeah. But yeah, I'm a gamer. I played a lot of games. Not only have I played a lot of games. Oh, stream's reconnected. Oh, great. Sorry, guys. The stream went down for a second. It's back. Anyway, I'm a big gamer. Insulting women, hating minorities. The whole 9 yards. I've been doing it from day one. But more, what's relevant here, I was gonna get to, is when it comes to cons and the cons I've been to as a gamer, I've been to quite a lot. My favorite one was PAX. I've been to PAX a lot. When I'm in America, the few times I was in America, the one time, and I've also watched a lot of PAX. PAX, if you don't know, sells digital tickets. So I've watched a lot of PAX. I've watched a lot of PAX, and things. I'm up to date on my PAX information, right? And the reason I'm bringing PAX up is because it's, for me, a very good example of a con over time that allows me to discuss my point. Do you guys know why cons charge the money they do for tables? The reason cons do that is in my opinion, for legitimacy. So every convention, depending on size, charges different prices for their tables. The reason they do that is for legitimacy, in that when you're a small little convention, you need the legitimacy of the indie scene to be legit, somewhat, right? I need the legitimacy of you guys to be legit, because I'm a small creator making YouTube content. I need you guys so that I can be seen as a legitimate creator. I need webcomic creators that are in the canvas space to like me, so that I can be seen as a legitimate journalist who investigates information. I need that stuff, right? I need that stuff. Otherwise, I will shrivel and die. But more importantly, I need that stuff because otherwise I won't be able to ex- properly get out my. I won't be able to properly get taken seriously by anyone in my space, right? As I get bigger or as the convention gets bigger, the price goes up not because it costs more to host, although sometimes it does. Often the price continues to go up because of the added legitimacy of people who are willing to pay more. Their PAX used to happen in the same place every year at one point, back when it was called the Penny Arcade Expo. But the prices of tickets and everything went up every year anyway, because every year PAX wanted to be more legitimate. They wanted more legit game studios to show up. They wanted bigger names to be there. So the prices would go up every year with the intent of essentially being um, a filter, right? To filter away people who are too small and to ensure that only the biggest, most valuable IPs showed up, because those valuable IPs made PAX look more legit. Every time a big property showed up, PAX looked more and more legit every single time, right? Like it's one thing if the creator of Super Meat Boy shows up to your convention. Okay, now you're famous in the indie space. But it's another thing if Nintendo thinks that they have to come to your convention. Because now not only are you famous in the indie space, you're famous everywhere. You're a big deal. You're legit. Whatever other business ventures you might want to do in the space, well, that's good. Do them because now you're legit. People respect you. People have to take you seriously. Um, and for me, that's why, in my experience, in my time, I've been paying attention to cons. Although I'm not gonna pretend like I know every con or anything. That's why cons I've seen, I pay attention, I've watched, I've gone to, have raised their prices. It's all about gaining that added legitimacy. Um, and like when you're a small, tiny convention that just doing this, that seems to have just started, done no promotion or whatever, and you're charging those level of prices, like the immediate red flag that any creator should notice is that if they're charging X price, right? What legitimacy do they have? This SoCal anime convention, the people running it, I looked at their shit. Shit. I wouldn't trust these people to sell me a sandwich. Like it just looks really haphazard. So I want to understand, does no one else see this? Am I just pulling this out of my ass? Maybe I'm not like, maybe there's something I'm missing here when I'm talking about this. I don't know. I want someone else to like help me think about this, to bring this up to me, brings to think this through with me, so that I can just kind of stress test my brain here. The story is news to you. The story is news to a lot of people. The story is news to a lot of people. Um, but fundamentally, like when I was learning about it, like the story itself is not too interesting. Poorly managed convention turns out poorly. Who cares? What was more interesting to me was just the conversation around like conventions, pricing. Um, like there was obviously the promotion conversation, but that wasn't too interesting. I really cared more about the conventions and the pricing thing, and how pricing is done in conventions, and why the pricing is done like that in conventions, and how it creates this environment of like this very highly competitive environment, and what it does. That's what really interested me. And when I got to the end of it, just like the only reason to raise pricing isn't because you have too many people wanting tables or anything. It's not because of like demand is too high. It's because um, demand is not about demand being too high for the tables. It's about your con being seen in the eyes of others as more real. When instead of getting fucking Jenny Tunes from Bumblefuck nowhere, right? You get someone like Jenny Bartel or RJ, you know, people who are popular for real, people who like have legitimacy on their side, people who have like more than just um a slight presence in the space. If that makes any sense. That's the only thing I could ever come to. Because when it came to the gaming conventions, that was the only reason they did them. PAX kept happening at the same place for multiple years. The prices have not really gone up, yet PAX continues to charge more and more. And for tables, for any of the display space because they want like big massive companies to come in and massive game releases to come in because it makes good press because it lets them make a ton of money. Like it's all about the legitimacy so they can continue to grow and continue to seem more and more legit in the eyes of others. At least that's what I think. Anyway, that's my whole thought on conventions. I wanted to see if anyone thought the same thing I did. Maybe you'd all tell me I was full of shit. If not, because if you guys have no thoughts on this, I want to go on to industry talks, which means I'm probably going to go back talking about Webtoon. You want to go back talking about Webtoon, because I do have some concluding statements on the topic. I want to, and then we'll talk a little bit about copyrights stuff. Artist Alley table prices like are fucking ridiculous sometimes. I see Artist Alley table prices and they're like, we use this public library that lets us use it for free. Also pay us $700. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's wild. It's absolutely wild to me. Anyway, since no one's gonna come out and say some good things about my convention table thing after I've done some whiplash, we're gonna go back to Webtoon stuff. We're gonna go back to Webtoon stuff. So I can do my conclusionary statement. I can go take it and then go to bed because you know what I need right now. I need to go to sleep because I have work tomorrow. um, here's my conclusionary statement on our industry as it's going. This is me pulling everyone back to Webtoon stuff. Our industry is so fucked. we're so fucked. Like we are sitting on we're standing on a bridge built out of sticks. That's the best thing I could think of to describe the industry that we work in. We're standing on a bridge built of sticks. Our bridge is so fragile and like nobody's and our bridge is so fragile. And the people that like the heaviest people on the bridge keep jumping up and down because they know that no, even if the bridge collapses, they'll float. But the rest of us will fucking sink. Like it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. That's what it feels like being in this industry. That's what it feels like when I think about things with conventions and the way they're run and the way they price artists out. They price smaller artists out of their space. What I think about when I think of Webtoon and the way things are going, how I think of the pricing and the way we're all getting paid. Like fundamentally, we're on the shakiest ground possible. And it's not like it's impossible for this industry to right itself. Like we're all still here. So clearly something good is happening somewhere. So it's possible for our industry to like redirect, retarget, and like focus up and drive us all in the correct direction and not crash. But like right now, the way that it's running, while webcomics as a whole will not like extinguish overnight because Webtoon is acting like shit, it is definitely making the industry a lot more precarious, a lot more unprofitable, and a lot scarier to enter. And the scarier an industry like that is to enter, the harder it becomes. That industry is to enter. The fewer people that take that risk, and over time, the industry tends to shrink so much, and then like it will suddenly become really small, and then it will become not only scary to enter but difficult to enter because the barriers to entry are now so specific, so high, so whatever. Like I'm worried about a lot of outcomes I've seen happen to other industries, other spaces. Things like what happened to things that have happened to other smaller art based or comic based or game based industries when the biggest players act like shit. I've seen this happen before, and it does not fill me with what the kids call confidence. You know, like people talk about leaving Webtoon, leaving Tapas, just like leave, go to any of the new people, they'll treat you better. It doesn't go away. Like it doesn't go away. Like Jenny Toons is right. It doesn't go away. It stays. You know, our industry continues because these people, these players in the industry are huge. when they do things, it ripples throughout the entire space. And like it affects all of us constantly. Constantly. Like we're living in an age where Webtoon's sheer size is making it so that like there might soon become a standardized rate of pay based on how Webtoon pays. Because they're just so big. Competitors want to offer very little additional to what Webtoon already offers because they know that for you, the best you can get is the best you can get other than them is Webtoon, and like they'll just be like, oh, we'll match Webtoon and we'll add like $10. So like I'm a little concerned. I'm concerned about a lot of them. I'm concerned about what's going on. I'm concerned about how people are being shafted. I'm concerned about the wage problem. I'm concerned about the way the industry is pushing out a lot of creators now who are just getting disillusioned because they get treated like shit. I'm concerned about quite a lot. While there are a few havens left here and there with places like Hiveworks and Spider Forest and places where creators individually have a lot of their own control. God damn, does it fucking suck that like that is not the norm. That like the safety, the security of the people who provide us with our entertainment is not the norm in the industry. And I'm worried. I'm highly worried. I think for me at the fundamental level, I recommend that a lot more people start being assholes a lot quicker. If you don't know how to be an asshole, ask your friend to do it for you because you need to start being more of a dickhead when you're negotiating with a company, especially when it has something to do with you and the money that you make and the safety of your job long term. This industry is fixable. Webtoon isn't fixable, but this industry, in my opinion, is fixable. I think everything that's wrong now can go away and we can get a better one soon. And I think a lot of it relies on us individually, not only learning to like discuss problems more, talk about issues better, share them more with each other, even if it seems like whining, because it's so valuable to have everyone's voice heard. I think it's so valuable for us to talk about these things more. But I also think it's even more valuable. It's even more valuable for us to not only talk about these things more, but like push back on the things we don't like together as a unit. Even if it means you have to just bitch on Twitter with your friends for months, do it. Because that shit's important. I don't know. That's what I feel. Like this shit's important. This shit is our lives. We shouldn't let a terrible multinational company control that to such a degree that we don't have that like to control our industry to such a degree that like we just accept that being underpaid and being treated badly is normal. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking on this. I don't know what you guys think on this. Sorry. Maybe you all think different things to me. Just like let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Anyway, yeah. Um, please be angry at Webtoon. I wanted to talk about a copyright thing, but like I'll drop the copyright thing for today. Honestly, I just wish more people were less fuck you got mine. Yeah, a lot of creators who've made money like act like that, and I wish even if you've been burned by some feature for some by some canvas creator calling you names and being a dick to you, like don't be such a little bitch. Have some fucking chutzpah and like keep being generous to your community without which you would never have gained any relevance whatsoever. And also simultaneously, we should start being kinder to them. Start being kinder to each other. Cause like we're not the reason that our comics aren't successful. Be more willing to promote people whose work you respect and you like. Be more willing to cross promote. Be more willing to work together with other people. You know, I think right now our industry is in the point where like we need each other so much. We need each other so much. We can't afford to have petty, stupid fucking arguments over nothing. We need each other more than we've ever needed each other before. We need to be there for each other. We need to complain with each other. We We need to collectively bargain as much as we possibly can. We need to share what fair pay is, what fair expectations are, what fair treatment is in our industry. We need to like be on that. Otherwise, this is gonna suck. otherwise, our experiences within this industry are going to continue to be terrible. And like I would rather they become less terrible, frankly. I don't know. Doing this show just puts gray hairs on my fucking head. It makes me tired. It makes me sad. It puts gray hairs on my head. Jesus Christ. On the bright side, next week we do 3,000 Webtoon stream. So I can look forward to that, which is nice. I enjoy thinking about the 3,000 Webtoon stream. I've been waiting for that for ages. So that's gonna keep me from going insane. It's gonna keep me from going insane. Anyway, since if no one else has any thoughts they want to share on today's live stream, let me see. If anything, I hope this leads to at least a slight increase in tip subculture. I think it should. I think it will. I think it actually will. More and more people are realizing that like giving your money to platforms is less valuable than giving it directly to creators. So I think it's going to start becoming more and more of a thing. I don't really like FastPass anymore. I don't think I would ever put money in FastPass anymore. I think from now on, my money is going directly to creators. Patreons, I'm just going to go on there and read their stuff, or their Ko-fis, which will even be better because I can pay to read specific things, which is what I would like. If only OnlyFans wasn't just for porn, I would also use that as well for creators. Anyway, yeah. Holy shit. It's like, it's very frustrating dealing with comics. Anyway, let me just thank my patrons again. I gotta end the stream anyway. I gotta just thank my patrons again, especially Bailey, my new patron. Thank you, Bailey. But also Pastelfly, True Bud, Cheesy, incredible person, the Geek Boy, and Ashlyn, my wonderful patrons who continue to prop me up like the weekend at like Bernie and Weekend at Bernie's. You know, the people who really hold me back, hold things up. If you want to become one of my patrons and fund my stupid endeavors and my time wasting long form content, please go over to patreon.com/webcomics hub and give me some money. Thank you everyone for watching today's show. I appreciate you all for showing up. I know I've been gone for ages, but I appreciate that I showed up and you were all still here. It feels really, really nice. And I'm going to go take the longest nap ever because I've got work tomorrow. I hope everyone watching the VOD has fun. I'll probably cut it tomorrow to remove some of the things in the start that I said that was just like nothing to say. Goodbye. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good day. Remember to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/webcomics_hub. And remember to go to my Patreon. Give me your money. Give me your money. We also have other links. They'll be in the description tomorrow and all that. Good night, good night, good night. See you next week on Saturday. No, not Sunday. Saturday. Fuck me.